I'm gonna tell you about the coming of the judgment fairly well, fairly well. I'm gonna tell you about the coming of the judgment fairly well, fairly well. There's a better day a-coming fairly well, fairly well. There's a better day a-coming fairly well, fairly well. In that great getting up morning fairly well, fairly well. In that great getting up morning fairly well, fairly well. When you see the lightning a-flashing fairly well, fairly well. When you hear the thunder crashing fairly well, fairly well. When you see the stars a-falling fairly well, fairly well. When you hear the chariot calling fairly well, fairly well. I'm gonna ride the chariot in the morning, Lord. I'm gonna ride the chariot in.
Hi, welcome to Verse of the Day. My name is Brandon Hathaway, and I'm the preacher here at the Westside Church of Christ in Owensboro, Kentucky. I want to thank you for joining me today as we again open up our Bibles, study the Word of God, and we continue our way through the book of Acts. In Acts chapter 14 is where we're at today. Acts chapter 14, looking at verses 13 through 15. And here in Acts chapter 14, we have Paul and Barnabas. They're continuing to go forth and spread the word of God. And they had come up on a man that his ankles, if I'm getting this right, his ankles were not well, I believe from birth. And so they healed this man. And again, he leaps up and is able to start doing stuff, right away. And as that takes place, they see this miracle take place. And because the gods that they did worship, they started to proclaim to them or worshiping them as gods. And so that's where we kind of pick up here. It says, in the priest of Zeus, or some translation says Jupiter. And so you're kind of getting to different mythology, I guess. Either way, it'd be wrong. I just picked that up when I was looking at this, reading one translation than another. And so it's interesting to see that some translate one way and others translate another. But they're almost the same God, but it's different mythology. They're both the leading God. Anyways, so and the priest of Zeus, whose temple was entrance to the city, brought oxen and garlands to the gates and wanted to offer sacrifices with the crowd. But when the apostles, Barnabas and Paul, heard of it, they tore their garments and rushed into the crowd, crying out, "Men, why are you doing these things? We also are men of like nature with you. And we bring you good news that we should turn from these vain things to a living God who made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them." And so, I think here's a tough situation that someone was put into. What would you do? Here it is. You just performed something. You've done something good. And then here they come. They come and they start to worship you. They start to sacrifice to you. They start to give you their goats and their garlands. And if they wanted to, they could just continue to live high and mighty here. But immediately, Paul and Barnabas, they start to rip their clothes. They start to get down and say, guys, we're just men, just like you. We didn't do this by our own ability. This was by the hand of God. And he has come down to save you. He's made everything. And so it's just the humbleness, the straight away to make sure the truth is being taught. They did not do these things for themselves, but they continue to do these things to teach the word of God. And so just a great example for us, again, even in a hard time like that. And you're like, man, these people are really caught up in what they believe. Maybe we should just leave them alone. But they went ahead and taught the truth. And so anyways, thank you for joining me today. I hope that everybody has a blessed day. Again, once more, tomorrow starts our gospel meeting. And if you're not used to that term, you might know the term for revival. It's much, I believe, like that. It's just a a week where we have a guest speaker and have a couple extra lessons throughout the week. And so we invite you to come join us. It's Sunday through Wednesday, March 6th through March 9th. And our regular times of worship tomorrow at 9:30, 10:30, and 5 p.m. And then Monday through Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. And we invite you to come and be, if you're able to just make it once, we'd love to come for that time. If you can make it to all of them and you'd like to, then we invite you to come and do that also. We'll be doing our best to get the sermons on Facebook and to get them up on our website and also YouTube. And if you so desire, we can hopefully be able to get them on CDs or a thumb drive or something also. If you'd like a copy of the lessons, whether you hear them and you like it or you didn't get to hear it and you'd like to have it. So anyways, I thank you for joining me. I hope you have a blessed day, and if the Lord wills,